Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is verb phrase 507. Verb phrase today is to pawn off. We got 4 meanings and 4 uses. Okay, somebody wants a screenshot, do it right now. Let's get right to it. All right, here's the first one. To shift the responsibility or burden for someone or something to another person or group. Okay, we got 2 examples. That manager often pawns off a lot of his tedious or unpleasant work to his underlings, so people that are under him. Really, he's supposed to be doing it, but he doesn't want to do it, so he kind of pushes it off to them. So he pawns it off to them. All right, the second one here, you insisted on getting that dog. It is your responsibility. Don't try to pawn off your duty of walking that dog. Maybe before they bought the dog, he said, well, if you get it, you take care of it, you walk him, you feed him, you do everything. I don't want anything to do with it. And now, of course, maybe the person doesn't want to do it all. They want the other person to do some of it, or maybe all of it. Who knows? Number 2, to deposit something with a pawnbroker as a type of security for a financial loan. Now, most of the meanings of pawn off actually kind of come from this one. Pawn shops have been around for a long time, so to pawn off really comes from pawn shops. When he got into financial trouble, he had to pawn off some of his gold jewelry. So this is a typical example. Somebody brings it in. When they pawn it off, it is actually a loan. They do get a loan. They do have a certain period of time that they got to pay back that loan, and probably something, for the loan, some interest or something. If they do it, they can get their item back. All right. And we got a second example for this one. Surprisingly, 85% on average pay off the loan of items they pawned off and reclaim them. To me, that's much higher than I thought. I mean, just from watching from movies, I thought it might have been reversed. It might have been what was reality. I thought maybe it was only 15 or 20% actually paid off. And most people just use it as a way to get rid of something. Or they're usually very desperate people do it, and they're so desperate they usually never get the chance to get it back. Or we've often heard of like hot items that have been stolen sometimes go to these, and they don't really want it back. They just want whatever they can get for it. All right, number 3, to give or sell something off under false pretenses. Okay, she is trying to pawn off her old junk as genuine antiques. Well, if she's trying to say that it's a real antique and it's not really a real antique, then we could say to pawn it off as. Second example for this one, he got caught trying to pawn off a counterfeit US $100 bill. So maybe he had a fake one. He was trying to spend it as though it were a real one. And the last one here, to misrepresent someone as being a different person. Okay, good. All right. We got 2 examples. That thief stole Mr. Smith's identity and tried to pawn himself off as him to do some scams on the internet. Yeah, we hear about identity theft all the time, and sometimes people use that person's identity to do bad things or to do crimes. And last example here. Leonardo DiCaprio's character pawned himself off as a substitute teacher, airline pilot, lawyer, doctor, etc. before getting caught in the film Catch Me If You Can, which was supposed to be based on a true story of Frank Abagnale. So supposedly that guy actually got away with pawning himself off as other people under other professions. Okay, anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it was clear. I hope it was very informative. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.